Chris Dixon and I standing quietly melting by the winner's enclosure, but I'm not going to complain. It's been such a brutal summer that this is really a welcome change. But one thing you failed to procure that I'm sure other pundits would have done was some of the sponsors' products after the first race. What a great day for Haagen-Dazs to be sponsoring.
I thought it was quite important, Nick, to go and get a look at the 2-year-olds in the paddock. So I was thinking when some of the more exposed horses that we know a little bit more about later on, that's when I'll go and serve up the ice cream.
That means I have to wait until race 4 because the next one's a maiden. Right, this is the Molesey Nursery. A small field, but I think you'll agree, quite a select one.
Yeah, we've got different strands of form coming in, different types of horses. You've got horses that have already been winning in their maidens, and you've got horses that have looked like they should be capable of significantly better, and you've got one or two that you're not quite sure that they've shown a great deal, but you've kind of got in the back of your mind that now in a handicap they might be about to start.
Okay. Let's have a look at Mega Munch, who is a last time out winner. Represents Linda Stubbs, who had another juvenile winner, incidentally, yesterday in these colours at Musselburgh. Juveniles from the yard are in pretty good form, and this was Mega Munch winning at Ayr. Now, the key here is it's soft ground. He's bred to appreciate a sounder surface. Do you think he will?
I think he might well do, yeah. I mean, he's run both starts on softish ground so far, but the Sire Camacho has a slightly better record on faster ground, not necessarily percentage strike rate wise, but certainly in terms of finding some value in the market he does. And down the dam side of the pedigree, it's more about faster ground. He's probably a little bit fortunate to win here because the second horse looks like a bit of a short runner really and stops in the soft ground. That said, the horse is steadily going in the right direction. The yard are in good form. 2 from 11 with their juveniles to this point. Nice winner for them yesterday, first time up. And 2 from 18 in nurseries since 2007 as well. So a yard that you respect in these kind of races, particularly when they send one down here. And for all that Mega Munch probably needs to improve a little bit, I think that the mark of 75 is probably very fair.
He's drawn in stall 3. A small field, normally here at Sandown on the 1,000-metre track. That low draw is crucial, but clearly with just the 5 of them, shouldn't be too much of an advantage either which way.
No, I don't think anyone will get sort of caught out in the centre of that track. They'll probably just race not quite 2 by 2 because we've only got 5 runners, but in that kind of formation, won't they? So we'll see how they go, but someone will want to get across onto the rail. Ryan Moore rarely gives it up, so if he can get there on Dan's choice, if the horse will take him there, I'd be surprised if he gave up the rails position, and he might even try and go on this horse who has led at Brighton on its second start and showed a bit of speed that day.
Let's have a look at the colt by Khalif, Dan's choice then, for Richard Hannon, who I thought could have a pretty good evening. Ryan Moore, I did him a disservice earlier. I said he'd ridden a treble. He rode 4 winners, yeah. 4 winners at Lingfield, so bidding to make it 5 on the day in the championship charge. R. Moore on Dan's choice. I get a feeling just from your body language as you mentioned him that you quite liked his claims.
I think he's interesting. He hasn't shown a great deal just yet. Has only beaten 3 horses home in 3 runs, but you just get the impression that he's one of those that you think there might be something a bit more to come now that he goes handicapping. He's bred to stay well on the dam side of the pedigree. It's full of stamina. There's more speed obviously coming from Khalif. Looking at him physically, you can see why they've made on quite early on in the season. Quite a compact horse who's pretty much ready to go, doesn't have loads and loads of size about him. I think he's got to improve, but he's one of those in the back of your mind that you've got something nagging away saying that he might just be capable of finding that improvement.
The horse cantering down to post behind Dan's choice, the all maroon colours there, the sheepskin noseband is Why So Fast, a filly having her first run with a mark, and she's rated 66. Harry Bentley takes the ride for Stuart Williams.
Yeah, the yard yet to have a 2-year-old winner so far this year, 0 from 8, but they in truth haven't been in great form for much of the season. Stuart Williams, he's had a bit of a rough time. Things have begun to turn a little bit better recently, and this horse has definitely shown ability. The run at Windsor, the middle one of the 3, which is the best piece of form so far, was travelling well and locked away behind horses, nowhere to go, and actually never got out and finished with plenty left in the tank. Then the next start, you were thinking that she might be ready to build on that, and she stumbled and nearly lost her rider early on in the race at Lingfield. So she's not really had a proper chance to show her true form. First time she was very green and probably needed the run. Then she was locked away looking like she had ability, and then she stumbled and lost her chance early on in the race. So kind of think that there's probably a little bit better to come from her. She's dropping back in trip here to 5 furlongs from 6. She's much taller and scopier than the rest of these. She was a fair bit bigger and leggier than the rest of the field, and still having a good look around her in the paddock as well. I'd be a little bit worried that she might get taken off her feet, dropped back in trip, but if she can lie up with them, she'd be interesting, because she did look like she had ability when she was unlucky at Windsor.
It is tight as a drum, this nursery. 3-1 Mega Munch. Uncomplicated, Dreammaker and Dan's Choice are all on 7-2, and Why So Fast, the outsider, is 5-1. Rule any out at your peril, Chris, but which makes most appeal?
I like Mega Munch most. The yard going well, might well improve for the better surface here, and I think that the mark is probably just a little bit leaning. I don't think any of these appear absolutely thrown in on what we've seen so far. I'm not a huge fan of, well, not a fan of nurseries, but I don't bet in nurseries very often. I just find it quite hard to get a gauge on things. I prefer looking at the more exposed horses, really, unless something really smacks as being extremely well treated, but then it normally is blatantly obvious. I think Mega Munch looks the one who's probably got the best mark. Should mention Uncomplicated, because she has been in fantastic form. She's done all of her racing so far on a soft surface. Will she handle the quicker ground? If she does, then she's a major player off a mark of 75 based on what she's been doing.
Last few coming forward. John Hunt, Uncomplicated, a Dreammaker, or more a Mega Munch man?
To be honest, what I would do, Nick, if this were a first time outers race, I'd happily back Dan's Choice. I thought he looked absolutely brilliant. Really went to post smoothly, looking very, very well indeed. Just rearing up there and dislodging Ryder down at the start is Why So Fast, and Harry Bentley, who just, hopefully, just briefly part company. Harry straight back into the saddle. I think the handlers will put the blindfold on for stalls entry shortly. A Dreammaker is the other one we're waiting for, but looks as though they're happy to attend to Why So Fast before Dreammaker here. Why So Fast to come into stall number 4. Dreammaker takes a turn. Why So Fast backs himself into a corner, or herself into a corner. Now they remove the hood and she walks forward. Yeah, I'll go Dan's Choice, Nick, the answer to your question. For Ryan Moore. Richard just telling us that 4 winners on the board already for Ryan this afternoon at Lingfield Park. We'll try again then with Why So Fast. And she's gone in lovely this time. So it's Dreammaker to complete the lineup. 5 strong, but a tough one to call, a tough one to name, certainly. Betting wide open here. And we're now all set to go. And they're off and racing, and the 5 pinged out of the gates as 1, with Dreammaker trying to get an early lead together with Dan's Choice over on the far side rail. Then Why So Fast, who's up with the pace as well. On the wide outside is Uncomplicated, and Mega Munch just a little bit outpaced early on as they head now down towards the end of the first 2 furlongs, and he was awkward there for Dreammaker, had to take back, and now allowing Why So Fast and Uncomplicated to get a bit closer. Dan's Choice now back in 4th place and nudged along, and Mega Munch is also driven along in last position, heading then down to the closing stages inside the 2. It's Dreammaker who has the advantage here from Why So Fast, Uncomplicated. Dan's Choice not far away, trying to renew an effort. Mega Munch down the outside. Betting said it was open. My word, it looks it as well. Heading for the line, Dreammaker, Uncomplicated. Dan's Choice trying to renew an effort with an inspired Ryan Moore over on the far side. It is Dreammaker with Dan's Choice on the far side. Uncomplicated close up. Dan's Choice is getting up in the closing stages. Drifted into the middle of the track, but beat Dreammaker and Uncomplicated. And that is 5 on the day so far for Ryan Moore.
Oh, just unstoppable at the head of the jockey's table. Ryan Moore, inspired on Dan's Choice, has muscled this horse home at odds of 7-2. It was anyone's race with a furlong to run, but at the line, quite conclusively, it was Dan's Choice's race. First time in a handicap for Richard Hannon off a mark of 65. He had the far rail to assist for much of the race, but drifted right out into the centre where the action was unfolding late in the race. Probably didn't do Dreammaker Beige Cap many favours, but he was well clear of him at the line. 3rd was the Uncomplicated. 4th was Mega Munch, who might have found the ground a little lively but hasn't disgraced himself. And 5th was Why So Fast, who was quite fast away but didn't see the race out as well as rivals. Moore, superb here, Chris.
Yeah, his horse always travelling quite comfortably, a little bit free if anything, just off the pace. The splits come at just the right time for him on Dan's Choice, in that the leaders just hung off the rail and gave him a chance and a nice seam to get up the inside and run on strongly. The two horses that have come down the centre of the track have both hung out towards the centre. Uncomplicated gives you a reasonable enough guide to the form and he's had every chance. Mega Munch doesn't look to have gone on this ground, keeps changing his legs, he's got a bit of a rounded action. His runs on softish ground, he hadn't really travelled with a massive amount of fluency, but I kind of thought it might just have been a bit of greenness